Yo, you got a mic. What's going on, guys? Back with another banger video. And in today's video, we'll be diving into the theory that Jonah Mitchell is actually the New York Ripper. We're going to be going over all of the evidence and everything that can back up this theory, which after hearing it all, I believe it. But before we get into that, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss one of my banger uploads. With all that out of the way, let's get right into it. Now, first off, I want to start off by saying I did not create this theory. If you're on Dexter Reddit or you just are a pretty big Dexter fan who uses YouTube, you've probably stumbled across this theory, but I'm going to try to gather all the evidence compiled over many different posts and videos and consolidate it down into one post. So let's go. The biggest thing is that Don Frampt, which is the alias of the New York Ripper, is an anagram for DNA of T. And the theory is that T stands for Trinity, DNA of Trinity. The only known living relative of Trinity is Jonah. And we do know Jonah did not get put away in jail and also did not get put on Dexter's table, so he is still running wild. Another thing, when Dexter confronted Jonah in the store in season 6, guess what Jonah's weapon was? A hook, similar to the New York Ripper's hook, just shorter. Speaking of the hook, we discovered that people with access to those kind of hooks that the New York Ripper used worked in construction in New York. Guess what hobby Jonah had? You guessed it, construction. So the theory stands. Jonah Hill is under the alias of Don Frampt, working as a construction worker in New York, and he is the New York Ripper. That is basically everything right then and there. That's it. Now, if you just watched this video to see the theory, that's basically it. That's all the evidence I got. But I think that's quite a bit, to be honest. Like, his name is an anagram. He used the same weapon as a New York Ripper, and he has the same job as a New York Ripper. I think if it's not him, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it could always just be a new character, but if you're debating whether it's a character we've already known, Jonah is definitely the best bet. But my sub-theory still stands that it might be Detective Claudette's partner. If that happens, just remember, I made that theory. You heard it here first. Another theory I've heard is that it might be Blessing's daughter's boyfriend or fiance, maybe, just because he's just a niche character, but you really never know. Kind of like Jamie's neighbor's boyfriend in season 8, which turned out to be Oliver Saxton. Like, he was the most niche character of all time and became the killer. So maybe that's Blessing's daughter's boyfriend. We never know. But like I said before, if it is a character we already know and we've already been introduced to, Jonah is definitely the best bet. It's really either that or it's a new character. So for the rest of the video, I'm just going to discuss how I think this would affect the story of Season 2. As I said in my Season 1 finale video, I think Dexter is going to be traveling around killing all the serial killers he gathered in the files at the end. And like I said, I think the New York Ripper will be the final boss of the season because they were building him up and glazing him the whole entire first season. And to have the second season, have this man brought up so highly, and then have him be an episode or 2 episode long threat would just seem very flat. Like, doing all this, you gotta make this man the main threat. Like, if he's not, I don't even know. So Dexter will be going on little side quests, killing killers here and there. You know, you got the Jaw Splitter, you got Rapunzel, the Midnight Mangler, and the Yonkers Slayer. So you have all these sub-bosses Dexter can take out. And by the way, I know Rapunzel living in Wisconsin and Lumen also living in Minneapolis, which are 2 cities that are very close connected. isn't a mistake. I'm going to cover this entire plot line in a separate video about what might happen with Lumen. But I know if he is going to that city, he's probably going to run into Lumen. It's just, like, why would you give up that opportunity? Why would you make Rapunzel live in Wisconsin? Any city in the entire U.S., you choose one that's right next to Minneapolis. Obviously, something's up. And also, I think in the past videos, I said Rapunzel lived in Wyoming. I don't really know why I said that. I just got Wisconsin and Wyoming mixed up because they both start with W's. It's all I have to say for myself. But I do think maybe he will get Rapunzel out of the way, get the Lumen plotline out of the way, then do Jaw Splitter, Midnight Mangler, do the Yonkers Slayer second to last, because Yonkers is in New York, get rid of the Yonkers Slayer, and then have the final boss also be in New York, which is the Ripper, a.k.a. Jonah Mitchell, a.k.a. Don Frampt. And I think Dexter finally talking to Jonah again will be absolutely crazy, and maybe this will make Dexter go down a darker path, because in this he would be seeing that he basically let a future serial killer go, because he obviously had the opportunity to kill Jonah, and he kind of did have the reason to kill him with Jonah killing his mother and all. But now that Jonah has become a serial killer, Dexter might take responsibility for that, and maybe after he takes out New York Ripper, because likely he will if they're going to renew it for a third season, Dexter may have a different outlook on Harrison specifically, because Harrison would probably remind Dexter of a young Jonah and probably also a young Zach. We need some Zach appreciation in Dexter Resurrection, please. That would be amazing. And Dexter would be like, is there any risk with Harrison, or, like, should I still stay in Harrison's life? Contemplating that again. Like, maybe we can revisit some themes like that. Just have Jonah coming back kind of conflict with Dexter's outlook on raising Harrison. Because he did take a mentorship-like role to Jonah, so maybe he reflects on that, and hopefully he also reflects on Zach. That would be pretty amazing if he did, because I find Jonah and Zach being very similar, along with Harrison and New Blood, especially. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Like I said before, I'm going to cover the Lumen plotline in a future upload, and I'm also going to cover what I think is going to happen with Masuka and Quinn in Season 2, or maybe even Season 3. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss one of my banger uploads. I'll see you guys in the next one.